Hey everybody, I am so excited to be here today with Persis, my amazing client who we've worked together just over a year now, and she has absolutely killed it. A lot of you have heard me speak about her a lot and her success, and we have been meaning to get on here and have a bit of a chat about her journey, about the amazing things she's accomplished, just so you guys can understand more of what happened, how she transformed so freaking quickly and just a little bit about her because she is incredible. So, hey, Persis, thank you so much for being here with me. I'm so excited to dive in and hear about your journey. So, before we begin, do you want to just talk to me about what you do?
Yes. So I am basically a manifestation mindset coach. That's originally kind of like the field that I was in when I found you. I had quite literally just like saw you on my page. I must have joined your group way back when and honestly not paid much mind to it. And so I had recently been suggested your posts a lot more when I had quite literally just started to offer some free sessions to people and to try to see if I could make it as a manifestation mindset coach, which later very quickly transformed into being a love coach, as everyone and their mother wanted to hear me speak on love and wanted me to help them with love specifically. So these were the areas that I kind of, that I specialize in basically.
Amazing, thank you. So, before we started working together, you just started, but what was your income like? Because I know you did have clients and people were paying you. What was your income like?
The first month in my business, I made $900. And that was basically in different derivatives of email-based coaching, where I would be supporting people through email support, giving them a variety of different options and different levels of access to me. That later turned into more Voxer and WhatsApp support. It then turned into calls, and it has evolved immensely. But in the first couple months in my business, I did $900 and then I did $2,000. And that was approximately like my starting ground. And my only goal was to just make the same amount of income as my original career. And I far exceeded that multiple times over, probably 12 times, 15 times. I don't even know how many times over. So yeah, that's kind of the thing.
Amazing. So you're doing like 900, then you did 2000. And how did you feel about money? Did you feel abundant? Did you feel like it was easy? Did you feel like the clients were flowing? How was that feeling?
Well, and in all honesty, in the very beginning, to be completely transparent and honest, I was just happy anyone would be willing to pay me at all. I
Yeah.
was I was not in a good relationship with money. My family and I don't want to say that we were like poor or anything like that because I don't like my childhood has always felt so abundant with like laughter and jokes and like you'd never know like our income status, but to get a little bit more raw and honest and authentic, like a family of four had for the better part of our lives been living below poverty line income wise. And so at that point in time we had gone through really tough things like me being evicted, or like us being evicted, I guess you can say. My career in medical, like I had graduated at the height of COVID with a medical degree, and now I have nowhere to work. And I don't have any debt, which is good because I was very academically gifted. I got full ride scholarships, but I was wanting to provide for myself. And so I had to move back home with the parents. And so the relationship with money was not very good. I was just happy anyone would pay me at all. And it opened up my eyes that, like, okay, maybe what I have to say is powerful. People are getting results. I'd like to explore this and see if this could be a possibility because I quite literally didn't have a career at that point in time, despite having a shiny new medical degree.
Yeah, I totally get that. I have memories though of you reaching out to me and asking me about my work and what you shared with me about what you were going to do for money. Do you want to share what that was?
So, way back in the day, your girl was down bad. I was down bad. So, but I never had any shame in it. You know what I mean? Like I was literally just trying to find ways to make money. So
Totally. Yeah.
so what did I do? Is like I decided to start selling some of my clothes online on different resale sites like Poshmark and stuff. I never really owned anything designer. I had always maybe like wanted a like a little Louis V thing, or I'd always maybe want like these little designer things because they were just like goals, right? But I just started to sell some of my stuff online. I was literally with a shiny new medical degree. It's a really big identity shift to go from your whole personality and your whole identity being like, I'm a medical person. Like my job, my original job before I transitioned over here is like, I have a specialty in general surgery. So what I would do is I would literally show up to the ER, and on specific days, general surgery is kind of like what I call the mixed bag. So one day I could be cutting cancer out of somebody. One day I could be operating on a hernia. One day I could be doing something else. And I really loved the kind of like not really knowing what's going to happen today type of vibe, to like, this is who I am, and this is who I am as a person, and this is what I'm meant to do, and this is how I'm here to serve people, to like, you're not doing this anymore, and now I'm transitioning and posting manifestation videos online. So at that point in time, I had a lot of shame inside of me of being like, who am I to be able to even do this? And there was a lot of shame. There was a lot of judgment. Like my human side definitely came out a lot, and it was attacking me from all different angles. And so at that point in time, I was literally willing to do anything other than ask my parents for money. But my parents are so kind that they would obviously support me anyway. Like I have very vivid flashbacks of me calling my dad in the grocery store checkout line, and I'd literally be bawling my eyes out because I don't have any money. My card is declined and I cannot even pay for my food. And I'd be like, Dad, can you please send me $50? Like it was that level of bad. Like when I say that I had nothing and I started from the bottom, like there was nothing below, like that's where I was. And that's kind of like what I was up to at that point in time.
Yeah, that's so crazy. I just remember those like first conversations we'd have, and like the way we chat now, and like you have become such a different person. It blows my mind. And so, where are you now? What happened when we started working together? How did your income change?
Oh my goodness. My income is honestly like done backflips. So when I came in, obviously I had a $900 month, I had a 2K month, and I started to join into the very first program that I joined in because it was the only thing I could afford. I think if you like go way, way back in your messenger, you may have even seen me reach out to you at one point in time and me asking about your one-on-one. And I was like, yeah, that's not available for me. Like, that's not, that's not where I am right now financially. And I was like, okay, thank you. Have a nice day. And then all of a sudden I see you on my page more now that I've opened this business. And I don't know, I guess like Facebook is listening. Who knows what they're doing. And so I hop into Abundant Aligned. And that was the $77 like monthly thing. Man, that's worth its weight in gold because I still go back to it and I still use it. And
that week you jumped in, you made $7,000.
yeah,
I remember
I
that.
was gonna say because there was like a jump to 7, and then from 7, I believe it went to like 57, 58. It
Yeah,
was huge. It
from
was
abundance
absolutely
now.
massive. Yeah. So imagine going from $900 like 2 months, 3 months prior to like now I'm having a 58K month. So I did Abundant and Aligned. And then right after that, I did Abundance Now because the proof of concept was proven, right? So I'm like, okay, if this is what I get for $77, I want to see what I get for a little bit more. And so I did Abundance Now. It was the most amount of money I'd ever spent in a course. So my identity is stretching a little bit more, spent the money, and my income jumped to the 58K caliber by the end of that container, which was just wild, like literally just wild. And so from there, I was like, so tell me more about your one-on-one options because I'd like to know about them now.
And
And
I remember, so she asked me about having a 1 month one-on-one, and I told her, and she's like, okay, but could we, I remember this conversation, you're like, but could I just like have maybe like half of it? Like, not because you were scared, I think, to spend that
really,
much time. You're like, could
I
we
don't
half
remember. Tell me
like,
more. Yeah.
yeah,
So
you
a
asked
half
me
of the
like,
month.
yeah, can we have like half the month that I like have half the stuff? This is what you were saying. Can we have half of it?
Oh,
And I remember talking to you about it. We're like, oh, you mean like something like this? And then I was like, and then I think you were just like, no, let's just do the whole month. Let's go for it. And then what happened?
yeah. And then I hit my first 100K month. It was about 103K exactly,
Thousand
and
in
some
cash,
change. Yeah, in cash.
103,000 cash month.
Cash. That was not like spread out. Like that was the cash in hand
Mhm.
in my Stripe account. And I just remember because my setup used to be over here, as you know, with our weekly meetings. And I just remember, like, I remember it as clear as day. All I've ever wanted was to just take care of myself and take care of my family, to show my gratitude for how much my family has also sacrificed for me to do well in my career. And it was a really difficult time when I made that transition. And my family has always supported me, but having their support has meant the most to me. And so I just remember so distinctly grabbing my father at the end of the month, and I was waiting and I was waiting and I was waiting for that end of the month. I was waiting for those 6 figures. And if you remember, maybe even towards the end of the month, I was like kind of doubting myself because I think it was in like 90 to 95 or something like that K range. And you'd given me some pieces of advice. And I remember taking my father physically from his chair, moving him over to where my setup was over there, and having everyone in the house do this and close their eyes. And I had my dashboard like brought up on my computer. I was so dramatic about it because I just couldn't fathom that kind of money. I couldn't fathom. Originally, I was like, if I make $5,000 a month, that's amazing.
Yeah.
If I make $10,000 a month, that's amazing. And I'm sitting here and I'm looking at 103K in cash, and I had them open their eyes, and everyone was like, we've been sold a lie. Like, how is this even possible? Like, this is not the type of money you hear about in many instances when you go down very traditional paths in life. Like, doctors don't make 103,000 in a month. They like make that in a year, maybe, And so it was just absolutely mental. It was absolutely mental.
That is crazy because I remember that's from joining Abundant Light at the end of June and in September. So less than like in 3 months in total in my world, you'd get $103,000 cash month into $58,000 a month.
Yeah, if you probably did the math of like the amount of ROI from 900, I don't think I jumped into your world at 900. Did I? Or did I jump in at 2K?
I don't know
which
month you did. Yeah.
The ROI of that, like that's absolutely crazy. Like to have that type of money in that period of time, like I was stretching that identity a lot, and I was really committed to this work because when you put money on the line and when you invest in yourself, it's also like an activation for you to really hold yourself accountable and for you to really be disciplined to make sure, because at that point in time, like I had never spent that kind of money before. So that was so new for me. But I just had so much trust and faith in the process, and I had seen how it had helped me. And so when I had no money, I just came into what I could afford. I took it really seriously, like it was my job. I would watch and rewatch the trainings, and the work works. You know what I mean? Like we know that it works. The work just needs working. And then as more money came in, allowed myself to climb up the ladder.
Yeah. And now, so we'll be doing one-on-one together. And now I'm guessing about 1.2 million in cash you've made.
Probably.
Because it was 1 million a couple months ago, and I know what you've been making the past few months.
It was 1 million a couple months ago. I don't even remember. Yeah. When I hit it, I didn't even realize it. I didn't even realize it, which is so crazy. And like now I'm in the position to like buy my family a house in all cash. And I'm just so excited about it. Like we're just this is not normal results. I feel like in like a year's period of time, like this is just like absolutely blown my mind in the best possible way, like far exceeded my expectations.
I love it. I love it. So how do you feel like I helped with your transformation? What do you feel like I offered it towards it?
Honestly, without you, I would not have been able to have done a quarter of this. Like I genuinely believe that. And I had conversations with my family members before signing up because we always talk things through like this. And I was like, I just know like Emma is worth her weight in gold. And I don't want to sit here and I don't want to go through the troubleshooting part of my business. I was actually so inspired. And I don't know if I've ever told you this, but one of the things that really drew me to you was like how you've talked about how your business has grown. And I was like, it's so valuable to actually work with someone and to skip the buffering part, the mistake part in your business when you're doing it all alone. I'm sitting here transitioning from medical to manifestation and starting a business with it. I don't know anything about this. And I was just imagining and like really cementing it into my brain that like the mentorship of being with you in any type of proximity, you're going to give me like valuable insights that are just going to not cost me mistakes later. And how much that was just worth its weight in gold to me. So honestly, the support, I mean, you've helped me in so many different ways, from leadership to content to support. Like every time I have a problem or every time I have an issue, I just know that you have a way to just speak to my brain directly, because that's just like your gift from God. That's just like your gift from God. And that's just what it is. Like you just have that way to like speak to exactly the issue. If I'm like, spiraling in some type of manner, we have a way to completely tackle it and address it head on and make it a non-issue. And that type of help has just been so valuable.
Oh, I love that so much. Thank you for that. I feel like one of the amazing things about you and your journey and how you've shown up for this work is you, like, guys, when personalization is just at the beginning of a business, like, I love the way you've asked questions, even like, what is a mastermind and how can I even create a different offer? And wait,
Yeah.
I can work with people that way. Like, this is what I mean. Like, I love how you, from the get-go, was so curious and so like you would ask all the questions and it was brilliant. Like, you just had no idea, right? You had no idea
Yeah,
because
I
you're
can
completely new to business. You had no idea what you were doing. And it was just so incredible, like your ability to just, you always were willing to go and seek what you needed. And that's exactly why it just kept growing and growing and growing, because
yeah.
you, anything you needed, I was like, here we go. And we would just implement, this is what you
Yeah.
do. And we were just like
Yeah.
this little team who could just make shifts so that you were always feeling empowered, you were always feeling grounded, you're always speaking to your people, you always, like, but that's fair, that's fair.
Yeah.
We could just keep you in a space of complete leadership, complete embodiment, and
Yeah.
complete power around your work and your expectations so focused on where you want it to be. I love that so
Yeah.
much. I love that so
It
much.
was it was so good. It was so good because I remember there were times where, and you and I have a private joke about this, and sometimes you like say it in groups where it's like, oh, Persis, like, like I saw a memory of like something in a group where you're like, I just want to be able to charge $250 an hour. And it's like the way my identity has stretched and the way that I've become like what feels like 72 different people is like honestly a testament to one, like my commitment to just putting
Totally.
my head down and running my race, but without like your ability to like, I imagine you as like the flashlight, like you're kind of like showing me the direction, but it's up to me to take myself and like move myself in that angle. And that's what I just feel like has been so powerful is like the way that I have evolved when things have been really difficult, when it's been hard to see things differently, you know what I mean? And all those other types of things, like that's what I think makes a really good transformation is like when you're really committed to being that person, when you've got no evidence of the
Yeah.
sort that you could be that person, and that this does feel like, is this even possible? And am I expanding too much? And what is a mastermind? Like, I don't know what that is. Like, are there different ways to do this? And like, oh, you could do it this way. And oh, you could do a group program. Like, do you remember the time where I was like, I just don't know if I'm a group program person? Do you remember
Okay.
that time?
Yes. We were talking about Persis doing a group program, and I was like, you could do it like this. And she's like, okay, I'm going to do a group program. She
Yeah.
launches her first group program. Did you get like 150 or 160 people in your first
Yeah.
ever group program? And she's like, I just don't know. Is this how it's meant to go? I'm like, Persis, you've just got, like, how much money did you make off it?
I don't even remember. It was like it was about 250 for that admission. So whatever those you could do the math on that. I'm not going to do that. I'm the science girl, not the math girl. But
I
yeah,
love
it
that.
was just mental because I was like, I literally just like didn't know. I was like, are these good results? Are they not good results? I don't have people to talk to. I don't
Yes.
have like other individuals in this industry. I'm literally just like a lone wolf here, and like you're my North Star. And so whatever you say in these types of things, like they're able to give me a tremendous amount of clarity. And I just remember being in a situation where the original goal was probably something like way too big. And you're like, let's just take small steps. Let's just take small goals. What can you get behind right now? And moving on that positive momentum train, like allowed it to be like boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
And it was just like so crazy. And then I was like, at the beginning of the month, I was crying about potentially like not being a group program person to like running so many group programs and probably selling like over 1,000 slots across all of them. Who even knows at this point?
I love it. I love it. And that's something about you, though. One of the things I love is you've been so willing to listen and learn. And just when you actually, you took what I said and you ran with it. And that is such a key part, I think, of your results. Because if I was like you trusted every word I said, like it was worth thousands to you, and you followed it.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons, like, you've blown up so quickly, because I've done it. I know what works. I know what doesn't work. And I was like, do this, yep, done. Do this, done. Do this. Like, even
Yeah.
recently when I was like, I think your message is going in this direction, and you're like, yes, 100%. And now all this
Yeah.
new content and all these new people and all this new income level is all just unfolding. Like, I just like your ability to kind of like lean into the process and trust me. It's amazing, and I really appreciate it. But I feel like that's just been such a key part of your results. So what I would like to know, though, what would you say to somebody who is thinking of working with me? Who's it right for?
Mhm.
Who's it not? What would you say?
Honestly, who it's right for is someone who's ready to do some work. someone who's ready to actually be committed to this, like it's their, I don't want to say that you've got to be my level of committed because my back was really against the wall. So I don't know if you need to be in my situation, but I definitely know that there's probably like a dozen more Persises at least in your audience that you have the ability to transform. And I'm glad to be the guinea pig to show you guys that this is possible and this is available, because I didn't even know these types of results were available for me. And so I just hope that it reaches the right people to say that, like, now's the time to go all in for you. Like, we've got a couple months left in this year. Like, I have even invested into higher levels of mentorship with Emma because I'm like, we're going to blow this stuff up. Like, we are going to be making like big moves in this situation. And if you have felt called to be in a situation where you're like, you know what, I really just want someone to tell me what to do, Emma has that level of clairvoyance. Like, she has that level of understanding of looking at your business and in, like, honestly, the first 2 minutes being like, this is what you need to do. This is what you need to do. This is what you need to do. And at the end of the day, that is worth thousands. And you're right. Like, the biggest thing that was the attributor for me is like being in a situation where I would listen to everything you said and I would absorb it like a sponge. And it's just like, I took your word like it was law, basically. And it's like, okay, this is what we're doing now. And I really, really committed to it in times where I doubted, in times where I was maybe a little bit weak, in times where my identity felt a little bit too stretched, and it was just like too much of a thing. But I really think the people who are going to benefit from your work are ones who really know that they're meant for something more than what they have right now.
Yeah.
If you know you're meant for something more and you're ready to put in some work, this woman is going to transform your lives in ways that you can't even understand. And it's going to go even better and even more crazier than what you think. But come in and just be willing to listen. Be willing to apply and be willing to be diligent, because if you lean on her and if you really hear her, like, I could bring out my journal, and I probably should have during this interview, but my journals are full, like completely full with all the notes, because there was no one that was going to be a better student than me, Emma. There wasn't going to be anyone who was going to be a better student than me. And so if you have that type of thing where it's like, you're at a lower level in your business and you really want to take it to the moon, Emma can do that. If you're somewhere in like the 20 to 40 range, it's honestly like breathing for her to get you to 6 figures. Like, it's not even like anything. Like, she looks at this little goal and she's like, we can do this. But like, she needs like a mutual effort. You know what I mean? Like, what she has to offer, it's all concepts and it's all words and it's all support until you put it into action. And that's the difference between people who can move through something and not get a result and people who can move through something and their results almost don't seem real. It just seems like clickbait because it's so freaking good. And like, that's what I have to say about that.
You're amazing. Thank you so much. I'm so proud of you. And I really appreciate you coming on here and talking about all this, because you blow me away. You've blown me away the whole time. And like, your dedication, your commitment, your trust in me. And like, this year's easily a $2 million year for you. Like, it's happening, and this is just going to keep happening. And as you say, I'm just gonna, like, you're going to keep paying my mortgage. That's your wee joke that that I don't have.
That you don't have. I know.
I love it, but I love you so much, and I love doing this work with you. And I'm so excited to see all the magic that we're going to get to create together in the future.
Absolutely. I appreciate it so much. I apologize if there's any noise in the background. We had a little AC issue, so people were moving around. So I apologize for anyone on the replay, but I hope this helps people. And please, like, honestly, just give like a 1 month intensive a chance, or come into a course and give it a chance. Like, come in where you can. There are no excuses if you want results. You got to find a way to make it work. And that's what I did. I found a way to make it work when I had nothing. So I know you can find a way to make it work, because I know all of you guys had way more than what I had back in the day. So there's no excuses here. There's no excuses. We're just going to be making a crap ton of money. And that's just how that works.
I love it. Thank you so much, lovely lady.
You're welcome. Have a great rest of your day.
You too.